Hello, I'm Martin Fencka and welcome to the first episode of another of my Civilization 5 Vox Populi series. So those of you who watched the previous series know what to expect this time, but I'll go through all the settings. Anyway, let's start with the mods that we're going to be using. This time it's just Vox Populi, nothing else on top of that. I thought I'd be using the 1st of March version, but yesterday there was a new version and it didn't change that much. It feels like it's mostly some minor adjustments and mostly bug fixes for the 1st of March version, so I decided to go with the yesterday's release. So the version we're gonna be playing with is the 15th of March. I will, as usual, leave a link in the description so you can download the version that I'm gonna be playing. And as usual, I will show you 3 different starting locations in this episode. It will be up to you to decide which one we're gonna be using. You will have 24 hours to leave a comment with like the number of the save file that you want me to use, and I'll make all these save files available to you guys, so if you want to play this game with me, you will be able to do so. So if you want to do that, make sure that you are using the same version of Vox Populi. Once again, it's from 15th of March and the link is gonna be in the description of the video. So that's the mod covered. And now what we're gonna be playing, we can check setup. I already talked about it. I want to play as Mongolia, so that's what we're gonna do. When we go to advanced settings, I didn't do anything too crazy. I was told that the like recent versions of Vox Populi are pretty difficult. So I didn't want to do anything too crazy with the settings. Mongolia against 7 opponents on Standard Pangea. I added 2 city-states so that we can properly use our strength. I think with 18, it should be guaranteed that we will have at least a few city-states like within our range right from the start, so we can take advantage of the Mongolian unique ability. I'll talk about that later. I didn't want to go too crazy. I think 18 is like ideal. So then map settings, as I said, Pangea, standard, everything else is pretty much normal. I don't think the game kept my settings here. I think I went with 5 billion years, which should make the world a little less hilly and mountainous. I'm not 100% sure about this, but I think I went with 5 billion. Not sure why the game didn't keep it here. Oh, they also didn't keep the sea level. I'm 100% certain that I went with a low sea level. I wanted to make the Pangea a little bit bigger. Resources standard, and then advanced settings. This time I kept event system. I talked about that, so yeah, let's try it. Let's see if it's now a bit less annoying in the late game, or if it still just keeps pillaging your farms over and over again. We'll find out. I kept all the events: good, bad, neutral, trading, safe, specific. That's another type. So all of that is available. No ancient ruins as usual. Someone also asked if I could keep ancient ruins on the map, but I think that's one setting that completely breaks the balance of the map. One save, or if a save that is likely to run away with the game anyway gets good ancient ruins, it basically becomes unstoppable. And you can't do anything about it because it runs away before you even know it's on the map. It's just too risky to run this, especially on a series that can go for like 30 episodes. And if I, after 12-15 episodes, find out that I didn't have a chance from the start because of one setting, it just feels bad. So that's why I'm turning it off, and I will be turning it off all the time. Maybe except when we play for, how's the civ called? Pocatello, I think, is the one that has a unique ability that lets your scout choose the bonus from ancient ruins. Then I'll probably keep it so that we can take advantage of that, so you can use the unique ability of a save, but otherwise this will stay turned off. No tech trading, tech brokering as usual, quick movement, quick combat, raging barbarians, transparent diplomacy. Everything else is pretty standard. So these are the settings, and now, as I said, 3 files that I prepared. So let's check them out, and before we look at them, let's go through our unique abilities. So first of all, Mongol Terror. Mounted range units gain +2 movement and ignore zone of control. So mounted range units, that's something we're going to be relying on pretty heavily. It is going to be like a domination game, of course, same as last time, but we will be using completely different tool compared to what we used with Sweden, right? Sweden was all about those melee units that in the end became completely ridiculous. This time we didn't have a single mounted range unit actually in the game as Sweden. This time completely different. Most of our army, I hope, will be the mounted range units. They are a bit squishy. I will have to test a little bit how they can do against cities, if we will be able to like completely rely on them, or if we will have to add at least some like frontliners into the mix. But I want to rely on the mounted range units as much as possible. They also become pretty ridiculous, like in the late game when they all get upgraded into helicopter gunships. Then it becomes a little insane, especially with the extra movement. Okay, 100% tribute yields from city-state bullying, so we want to find city-states as soon as possible. We will be sending units to them and get as much as we can from them. Ignores alliances and protection penalties when bullying, so no one should be able to really stop us from doing our thing. What's actually missing here is the ability to like gain control over a city-state through bullying. I'm not sure if they removed it or if it's part of the 3rd and 4th unique component, or if it's just not written here, or if I'm just crazy. But I'm pretty sure that in some of our games, Mongolia was just taking over city-states right from the start. I wasn't able to do anything about it, and I don't see it here. So maybe it's the part of the 3rd and 4th unique component. If that's the case, I may play Mongolia with the 3rd and 4th unique component at some point again, because I would like to be able to do that as well. But here, first I said I will be playing without that mod, and second, it's the version of the Vox Populi I'm using is 1 day old, so I don't think that the 3rd and 4th unique component devs were able to like adjust the mod to the recent Vox Populi release. I don't want to have any problems with the mod not working properly. We'll just stick to the basics. Then we have Con, which is a Grey General replacement, providing same combat bonuses as a normal general, but is faster and can heal adjacent units. I've never played, or I actually don't remember the last time I played with Mongolia. I played with Mongolia a long time ago. So I'm not sure if they just provide like increased healing rate, or if they work in a similar way as admirals, that you just have a button that heals everything around the general or around the Khan. So we'll find out about that. And then we have Ger, which is a granary replacement. In general, it gives a lot of food. It adds food to like almost everything that you can see right from the start, and adds a little bit of fate. So hopefully we'll be able to get religion without too many problems. Yeah, that's it. So let's jump into the game. First, starting location. I'll actually show you what I checked before I decided to keep this one. I went this way, and then I think I went this way. I decided to keep this one because there is ivory right from the start, and just once I would like to play with ivory as my like starting luxury. I don't think I've ever played that, and I want to do that because you get access to war elephants. Not sure that the Mongolia is the right civ to do so, because we want to go skirmishers, but decided to keep it anyway. It's not a bad start. I mean, we can start here, so that's a hill, forest start on the coast. We have, if we start here, we have 1, 2, 3 elephants in the range. We have double wheat in the range. We have perfume on this island. It's a coastal location. Problem is, it's like this narrow strip of land we have sea on both sides, so we could be a bit cut off here, but well, it definitely has potential. A lot of jungles, but that's another like resource that we could work with later. I think overall it's a decent balanced start. That's number 1. Then when we check number 2, come on. Here, again, we have a coastal start, hill, forest, on the coast. This time is actually, it seems much stronger than the previous one. It may seem similar when you look at it. Same starting or same tile to found the capitals, also on the coast. More or less the same amount of resources around the city, but the resources here are much stronger because they have much better yields right from the start. Chocolate, I think it might be the best, or like top 3, let's say, luxuries that you can start next to. The yields without any improvement are pretty crazy. Then we have wheat, we have tea. This could be potentially a ton of extra culture if we can somehow get a monopoly on both. So here we would be getting all the extra culture from tiles and then multiplying it with the monopoly from tea. This location could be pretty crazy. I think this is the strongest one from the 3 that I decided to keep. So this is actually, before I show you the last one, I think this is what I did. Something like this. This could be a problem because there is a desert to the northwest from the starting location. But I think there is more than enough room to expand in this direction. And this actually might be an advantage because we have this side basically secured, probably because of the desert. So yeah, as I said, I am pretty sure this will be the strongest starting location from the 3 I decided to keep. And then we load the 3rd one. Okay, this one is really quite unusual for Mongolia, but I wanted to have some like variety, and this is completely different from the previous 2, right? Desert Mongolia with a ridiculous amount of food. I think I moved this way and this way, or this way. It doesn't really matter, we'll see more or less the same thing. Look at the food. And it's also not like it's food and nothing else, because there are quite a few hills. I mean, hills are not great, but it's still production. It's not like sometimes what can happen when you get these starting locations with floodplains, that you just have those floodplains and then you have desert tiles with nothing, so you have a ton of food and no production at all. Here, we will have more than enough population to work all these mines, normal mines, without any resources, and we'll be perfectly fine. So this is, as I said, it's different. We would have monopoly on wine, so that's fate, not the strongest one. But right from the start, being able to work... Actually, would we even work the wine until it's improved? Probably not. We would just work the food and then the chocolate, and probably like quick mine or 2. That's what we gonna need. What I'm not sure about here is the starting location, because there is the wine here. I was thinking about moving on this tile. That would give us a triple wine in range of the capital. We would reach the wheat, this one would be too far. We would have like a million floodplain tiles. We would still have, look at 2, 4, 6, 7 mountains. All of this, of course, would be in range. The disadvantage here would be it's pretty much guaranteed that we won't get any like horses, cattle, bison, all these resources that get the bonus food from Ger, but it's still possible we get multiple sheep. They also get bonus from the Ger, or I'm not sure if it's Ger or Ger, whatever. I'm gonna call it Ger. Another disadvantage here is that it's also pretty much guaranteed there'll be no horses, which of course for Mongolia is a problem, since we do need horses for, of course, the mounted range units. That should be a problem that we can fix quickly, like 2-3 cities, secondary cities, and we should be able to just settle somewhere near horses. And it's not like impossible to get horses. It's possible to get horse here. It's possible 1, 2, 3 to get horses on this tile, but chance is quite like slim. But still, it's definitely interesting. This would force me to probably like think the most during the early game what I'm actually gonna do with this start. So challenge in the way how I would play with this, not a challenge in the way that it's like a bad start. So yeah, now you know all 3 of the starting locations. You can command basically until the 2nd episode is up. When the 2nd episode is released, that's when I'm gonna make the save files available as well, and it should be in more or less like 24 hours. Did I forget anything? I hope not. So yeah, that will be all for this episode. I hope that you liked it. I hope that you like the whole theme and idea for this series, that you're gonna join me next time again. And until then, have a good time. Bye bye.